Hey everyone, it's Dinah, and we are here for more of Heartstopper, this time on to episode number 5 of the first season. Last time we had the rugby match, the infamous rugby match, and I think, I think it's been a couple of days since I've actually watched episode 4. I think I actually did kind of take a bit of to take a bit of a break to actually edit the kind of like to actually start putting the first couple of episodes out, because I actually got to episode 4, I think, before I actually had actually managed to get any reactions out. So I think at that point I thought, okay, let's actually try and put at least the first couple of episodes out, and you guys have been reacting so positively to them so far. So thank you guys, thank you for being here and for watching these reactions and supporting them, and loving the show as much as I do, and loving the reactions and everything. It really means a lot. It means a lot. So really glad to see that kind of interaction and engagement with it, and to be able to continue the show with you all as well, and to see what else this season has to offer and everything. So yeah, so the first episode is up. I think by the time this is up, the kind of next kind of couple should be out too. So here's hoping. Here's hoping. But yeah, and I mean, after this, it's only like 3 more episodes to go anyway, so I think, should be able to get through that in a breeze, and then I'll be one and done. So yeah, it's been great so far. It's been so good so far. It's been so good so far, so I can't wait to see what more there is to see, and what more the story has to offer and everything. But yeah, we had the infamous rugby match. I can't even remember if the what the actual result, like what the outcome of that match was. Like I can't remember if they won, if they lost. Like what about that? I don't even know if they explored that aspect of the actual rugby match, because I think most of it was actually to do with them like not really being able to. I think no, I think no, no, I think they called it off. I think they called it off because I think it started raining. I think, and then I think Charlie got tackled, but then he got tackled so hard that I think his nose or something on his face started bleeding profusely, or fairly profusely, and then the coach kind of called it off, saying that the rain made it too dangerous to keep playing. So I think they actually kind of actually called it like a draw or a tie, or just there's a word for it. I don't know why it's just not coming to my mind right now, but I think they did, or I think it's like a forfeit. Is it? I think it's a forfeit. I don't know if it's a forfeit. I think because I think it like they did it. They called it off because of the weather. So I think maybe just like an actual kind of like postponing the match, or like the rest of the match, until a sunnier day, if such a thing exists in this country. So so yeah. But no, yeah. So they called it off, and I think I think that's when he was sent to the nurse's room, and then Nick met him in there too, and then they kind of shared a moment too before Isaac came in and kind of saw them together. But then I mean, Isaac, he's one of the coolest people on this show so far. He hasn't even had that much screen time, which I think again, that is a crime. He should have more screen time too, because he's not really done much besides from read and interact with his friends and everything. And but then that alone is just like whatever screen time he does have has proven that he's awesome and relatable and really chill and everything so far. So we need more Isaac. We need more Isaac in the show. So among other people and among other things. So yeah, so yeah, but then I think the kind of episode kind of took a look into how Charlie and into how Nick and Charlie are actually kind of actually doing like a similar thing with Ben and Charlie, like, and actually kind of keeping the kind of relationship under wraps. So only this time, like, this one is actually more of like an actual relationship with them actually hanging out and spending time together, and actually kind of genuinely being into each other and everything, and stuff. So I think Nick kind of was temporarily worried that, like, he was actually kind of turning this whole thing into another Ben and Charlie thing. But then Charlie actually reassured him, like, no, that, like, he got why this one actively kind of he not only understood why Nick would want to keep this one why Nick would want to keep this one under wraps, but then also kind of actually supported this one a lot more than with the Ben one, because again with this one, like, Nick was still more than happy to actually kind of spend time with him and stuff, and like not just meeting up to make out. Like, I mean, for him, making out with Charlie's probably like a bonus, but actually spending time with him, that's the main goal. That's the actual that's the end game. Spending time with him is the end game. The bonus is actually, having secret kind of smooch sessions with him. So yeah, yeah. So yeah, that was cool. So I think actually seeing them kind of exploring a bit more of that, and actually kind of like to talking about what they want, and how they're gonna approach it and everything. And of course the episode, different moments throughout the episode just had to be ruined by the dipshit known as Harry. So yeah, Harry just came along with his heteronormativity and his pushiness and his over eagerness to poke his nose into places where it really unquestionably does not belong. More specifically, also like the kind of history and kind of kind of like potential future regarding both Imogen and Charlie as well, and actually kind of pushing Imogen to like ask to actually ask Charlie out, and then of course Charlie kind of being afraid of saying no and being afraid of actually being seen as different because he said no, and especially to a girl too. He went ahead and said yeah. So Imogen asked Charlie out, and then no, not Charlie, no, definitely not Charlie, no, Nick. Again, the names in my name for some in my mind for some reason the names are so I don't know why the names are so interchangeable. I think they've done like a very good job of actually kind of clarifying who's who so far. But I think with me it's just like names are not always my strong suits. I think especially like when you have like an actual combination like that too, like Nick and Charlie. Like I can always easily mix the two up and refer to different people and everything. So just kind of just know it's like when I say that I really do obviously mean the other thing. So yeah, Imogen asked Nick out, Nicholas Nelson. So yeah, she asked him out, and then he said yes, and then the entire ordeal was actually overseen by both Tao and Elle as well. So I think I feel like they've then definitely kind of especially with Tao already being distrustful of Nick and also his fellow rugby buddies too, his fellow rugby kind of teammates too. He's already kind of like wary of Nick and what his kind of true agenda might be if he has one, and how he's kind of behaving too. So feel like I think Elle might be cautious there. Like Elle might be kind of cautious towards him, but then I think Tao might might actively be like like trying to call the whole thing off, being like you shouldn't approach this, you shouldn't go after this. He's wrong for you, he's bad for you, and all this that and the other. He's gonna get all kind of pre-judgmental and everything, and that's not gonna end well. So yeah, I guess just regular teen drama type stuff. So. Yeah, but I think to be fair though, compared to most teen drama kind of content out there, this is arguably a lot more kind of understandable and like and it makes you want to pull your hair out, but in like a more kind of reasonable kind of manner and everything. So yeah, so there's that. So so yeah, Harry is just kind of now being inserted into story a bit more than ever. So I'm hoping. I mean, every time I say I hope we don't have to see more of him or his posse, and then lo and behold, him and his posse kind of show up to ruin the day and ruin the episode and everything, and ruin everyone's time. So God knows how much more of him we're gonna have to see. So. And then of course I think the beginning did also kind of have Nick of course running through the rain to get to Charlie's house, and him actually spending some time there talking to him a bit and actually kind of trying to explain some of his feelings and how he felt and everything, and he like his main kind of line of dialogue being like he's just so confused, he doesn't know exactly what he's feeling or how he's feeling or how to explain it, or he doesn't fully understand it yet. But I think right now all he does know is that he is really into Charlie and he really does like him and he likes spending time with him and he likes kissing him and all this, that and the other. So I think it's going to be an interesting progression from now until the final episode to see exactly how that progresses and how much closer they can get and how much closer they will get and how much more comfortable Nick becomes in his own kind of sexuality and in his own kind of identity and his own kind of personhood and everything, and how he kind of approaches the kind of people around him after that too. So hopefully one of those things will either be kind of teaching Harry a lesson and educating the damn kid, or if need be then removing any toxicity that needs to be removed until further notice, or even permanently. If permanently is required, then permanently it is. But yeah, I think whatever happens, and we're just here to witness this story unfold. So yeah, so that is pretty much all I can remember from the last one. So I think I kind of did have hopes for what the kind of date between Imogen and Nick might be and how it might go and everything. So again, I mentioned in the review for the last episode. So I'm just gonna wait and see how it actually goes and judge it based on that and everything. So yeah, I guess we can see how things unfold. But that is all I've got from the last one. So on to episode number 5 of Heartstopper. So yeah, let's go. Oh, Monopoly. Monopoly, oh gosh.
I just have a lucky roll.
Isaac just passed out with a book right next to him. That's my boy.
And that's me. You only have more money because you know all the Monopoly cheats.
You can't cheat at Monopoly.
You can't cheat him. Oh, Monopoly. Oh, Isaac, you cheeky little shit. Yeah, I mean, you kind of have no choice but to draw now. Yeah, you cannot peacefully restore that board after that, yeah.
I've seen him with those nasty 11s at the school gate. If they say anything mean to Charlie, I'm going to crush them. Verbally.
Doesn't
Verbally.
sound like the safest tactic.
Well, Nick's not like them. He, you know, is around them, but he's not like them.
Interpretive dance?
Oh
Would
gosh.
that be less annoying?
That was
Interpretive
exactly what I had
dance.
in mind.
Too late. You've said it now. How's this?
This is where.
I just think you can't recognize talent when you see it.
What exactly is she meant to interpret from this?
This whole conversation was a...
To my birthday thing on Saturday?
Oh, it's his
I really
birthday!
wanted to
Charlie's
come, but I don't
birthday.
want to be awkward or weird for any of you since you don't really know him.
Well, they can get perfect way to get to know him, to know he's not like the other year 11s. Yeah. Great, yeah, bring him along. They can see his true colours and how much he actually does like Charlie. Yeah.
See, I wasn't sure if...
Oh god, is she crying already?
Are you okay?
My dog died last night.
Oh crap. Oh shit. You can't call it off. Can he still call it off now? Or is I don't know.
It was really old, like we knew it was coming.
Oh, look at that face. Oh, look at that little boop snoot. That's a boop snoot if I ever saw one. That is a boop snoot.
This is the worst week ever.
Oh god, for fuck's sake. When okay. It always starts like this. Always
What do you want
starts.
to say about our date?
It always goes like this. It always starts like this. One piece of bad news and then everything comes crumbling down. Yeah, just
So, shall we meet at Nando's for dinner and...
Oh,
maybe go to the
Nando's.
cinema?
Ah, the cinema. Yeah, go watch Multiverse of Madness. Yeah. Would that be a good movie to break up to break up after one date?
I was going to ask if you wanted to come, but I know you don't really know them, so you don't have to.
Yes.
Can Charlie keep it down, please?
Hey, they're organising a birthday date. Okay, this is important business. Oh, the little finger touches.
You don't have to get me a present.
No, I am gonna.
I'm serious.
Your presence is a present in itself, Nick. You're all the present he needs.
Date on Saturday?
Oh, it's on Saturday,
Day
for
on
fuck's sake. Oh,
Yeah?
shit.
Imogen told me you're meeting up on Saturday.
Oh, did she specify
said it went well,
Saturday? Did she really have to specify Saturday? I mean,
So, if we meet there...
Can he dress up for the date and then dress up for the birthday? Can he do that thing?
Harry, don't start.
What? Are you best friends with these weird little year 10s?
Just stop picking on people for no reason.
You gay for them?
Classic Harry. Resorting to homophobia when you can't think of a good comeback.
Mate, are you in a mood today?
Are you? Serious question. Life must be really hard when your only personality trait is rich bellend.
Damn. That's a good call out if I ever saw one.
Oh, well, we can't possibly hurt your new best friend, Nick Nelson.
Just the sooner Harry's out of all of this, the better. The sooner Harry's gone, the better. Just, Jesus. Oh, Charlie and Elle. Oh.
I said I'd go on a date with this girl. I kind of also agreed to go to Charlie's birthday party on the same day.
Oh, do you like this girl?
Well, her dog died.
Not following.
Yeah, it's kind of a,
And she was really
you know,
upset.
yeah.
And I felt bad.
That's a great answer, though. Do you like this person? Well, their pet died, and everything else would just be like a bridge crumbling down, so...
A lot of people are expecting us to get together, but I don't think I like her like that.
Yeah, you know, you shouldn't go out with someone just because you feel sorry for them. The right girl will come along, just you wait.
He's 15. Nice. That's He's 15.
Happy birthday.
I said you didn't have to get me anything.
And I ignored you.
What did he get him? What did he get him? What did they actually buy him? Did they buy him like a... They don't mean bought like a watch or something. Maybe a bracelet or something? Or... Well, I think a watch could be cool.
That's Isaac. He doesn't say a lot, but he's really nice.
Yeah, he even has a book at the bowling alley. So.
Sorry in advance if he says anything rude to you. That's
Yeah.
just the way he is.
Yes, Tao is very... Tao. He's very Tao. Yeah.
Can you at least try to get to know him?
I'll try.
You're judging Nick way too harshly. Way too harshly. I mean, the fact that he actually stood up for you should take some form of precedence, you know? Is Tao gonna be the ball? Is he gonna be the ball? No, he just couldn't be the ball. Come on, Isaac, you got it. Oh, yeah, that's a decent shot.
I'm gonna go talk to him.
About?
Okay, don't tell him out of context. Don't be like, oh, Nick's cheating on you with Imogen or whatever. No, don't be like that. Come on.
He's going on a date with this girl. I heard him agree to it after that rugby match the other week. That can't be true.
No,
Fine. Don't believe me. I'm clearly just lying for fun.
No, I'll get it. It's fine.
Okay.
Isaac.
I'll also accept a can of Coke. If you're paying.
Okay. Right. I'll be
Right,
back in
just
a
buying
minute.
everyone a round of drinks.
If he is even slightly mean to you.
Yeah.
You'll
murder
you'll
him.
crush him verbally. Really, Tal?
I was going to say, send him a strongly worded DM, but that is fine too.
Oh, they're so. Oh, there we go, all in one. That's my girl.
So bad.
Because you're Tao.
Basically twigs.
How dare you? I'm a very...
He's gonna try and talk to Tao. Yeah. Oh boy, this is okay.
Chip.
Thanks.
Great start. Solid start.
I don't know if this thing with Charlie is a joke or not, but for some reason he really likes you, and you're messing with him, and I will not tolerate it. So consider this your final warning.
You're a good friend.
I know.
Oh gosh. I feel like if it weren't for the beanie, Tao would be legitimately terrifying. Like, nothing against beanies, but I feel like the beanie is just like an instant nullifier of any threatening aura.
I was such an idiot. I just blurted out yes because I didn't know how to say no without embarrassing her and confusing all our mates. And then her dog died.
Yeah, that's an important detail. That is a very important detail, yeah.
I wish I'd met you when I was younger.
Yeah?
I wish I'd known then what I know now.
No being sad on my birthday.
So, you gonna open my present then?
Yeah, what is the present? What did he buy?
I kind of want to see your reaction.
Oh, okay.
I
It's like a
genuinely
photo?
think time
Is it a
thinking
photo?
about you
Tell me he
twice
framed a
ago.
photo of them. Tell me he framed a photo of them.
Sorry, it's a bit handmade.
That is the best. That is actually the best. That is actually the best, cutest gift he could possibly get him. That is the best thing he could get him.
You like me?
Wasn't that obvious? Do you like me?
Yes, obviously.
Why are we like this?
I want to kiss you so bad right now.
Do it. Kiss the boy. Kiss the boy. Yeah, in public.
Okay.
Okay. Hey, take off the Tara and Darcy. Take off the Tara and Darcy. Yeah. Fuck the fuck the everyone else. Yeah. Aww. That is honestly the best gift. That is the best gifts. And the world spun on. The world kept spinning. Yeah. Come on, Isaac. Get lucky. Get lucky. Come on. You got this. Oh, more Mario Kart, the arcade too. That's cool. I'm so happy for Isaac. I'm actually so happy for Isaac. Oh? L? L? Madame? Okay. Her eyes are very, very specific. Yeah. Oh, and he even brought Nelly along. Oh.
Oh my god, is this Nelly?
He's not gonna give her Nelly, is he?
Might cheer you up.
Oh, no. Yeah, I thought, hey, I'm sorry about your dog. Here's a new one.
Thank you.
No, that's sweet. That's really sweet.
You're a really nice person, but I don't like you like that.
It's better to be straightforward here, Imogen. It's in everyone's best interest.
It's not anything to do with you. Do you ever feel like you're only doing things because everyone else is? And you're scared to change. Do something that might confuse or surprise people. Your real personality has been, like, buried inside you for a really long time. I guess that's how I've been feeling recently.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, that probably makes no sense.
No,
Does Imogen feel the same way? Like in a
I think I get it.
different manner, maybe?
Thanks.
See, that was good. Yeah, honesty. Yeah, honesty helped them both out in the long run.
I just think I can do better.
You're proper thick about girls sometimes, aren't you, mate?
Again, sooner Harry is gone, the better. The sooner Harry's out of the picture, the better. Just his existence just is like it's designed to antagonize. Yeah. So yeah. That was that. I think that. I mean, it had its kind of more glary kind of moments. It had its kind of glary kind of downfall type moments. But for the most part, I feel like that actually went pretty well. I think it definitely kind of didn't like upset me or actually kind of disappoint me as much as I thought it would, given the kind of subject matter it was tackling. Even with Tao being as he was, I think even then, and I think. Again, like the kind of worst parts being Harry, I mean, I know. I think you know what. I think if anything, I think again, props to the actor. I think that character is actively meant to. I think like generally speaking, the actor is meant to be generally speaking, the character is meant to be presented as this annoying, pushy, kind of loud mouth and this kind of like homophobic kind of little teenage kid who admittedly also can be that he actually doesn't know any better, but then of course he doubles down on his behavior as he goes by because no one's really teaching him any better and he's not really seeing any better or anything. So I think that can also be applied, but then of course I think I think it's also specific to actual kind of queer bullying too, like him actively kind of using him using queer identity as obviously as a reason as he can to actually punch down on Charlie and Tao like that too. Kind of I think it's something that can resonate and is all too familiar with queer youth especially, and I think even queer adults too who went through that in their adolescence and as they were growing up too. It's all too kind of familiar. So I think that kind of thing, is the kind of thing. Again, you would hope you wouldn't have to see this, but I think in order to actually push this as a realistic and identifiable story, you do kind of as much as people wouldn't want to be reminded of that. Of that kind of a character's existence and that kind of behavior's existence in the real world. I think it's also kind of like actually kind of like I think it's like the more they have it, the more it kind of pisses you off. But then at the same time, it's like even in real life, like that's the thing. Like it doesn't just magically go away. Like you actively have to fight to actually kind of remove it from life and from your kind of experiences with life too. Like either you disconnect from the person, or you push them away, or you move, or something. But that kind of thing is there. That kind of thing is definitely there. I think they definitely are kind of utilizing Harry as effectively as they can in that kind of a way too. But then again, he's just a little shit. He's just such a little shit, and you just don't want to. At least I really, would be perfectly okay with him never showing up in the story again. Like if he just mysteriously disappeared too. I mean, I'm literally not even talking about having someone like Tao murder him or anything. Like if he literally just kind of mysteriously disappeared from the story, I literally couldn't care less. It would be like oh no, he's gone. Well. God save who, God save, may God have mercy on whoever else has to deal with him in the future, like wherever he's gone to, so yeah, that's the thing. But no, I think he's also like a very very deliberately kind of placed obstacle in Nick's life too. Like he is like a pretty prominent kind of member of Nick's social circle. I think him being there, like the behavior that he exhibits and the kind of the kind of vitriol that he spouts to makes it all the more harder for Nick to actually actively kind of come to terms with who he is and what he is, and how he wants to move forward in life too. So, because I think even socially, I think he's just like a dick too. I think it's like it's bad enough that he is homophobic and just potentially like queerphobic in general. But I think it's also the fact that like he actively is pretty much like he's also like he's pretty much like, pretty much like a ringleader. Like he actively kind of leads the other kids into doing the same shit he does, and he actively picks on like lower kind of the kind of lower year groups, and he actively picks on people younger than him and people different to him, and he actively kind of boosts that kind of image and leads with that kind of a message and everything. So he actively kind of encourages people around him to either fall in love with him or like even that scene, even in that scene when Nick tried to actually stand up for Charlie and Tao too, like like Harry immediately kind of like trying to push Nick under the bus too, and just being like that too. So then like for him it's like you either fall in line with how he treats other people and how he behaves, or to him you're just as you're just like everything else that he kind of aspires to hate and stuff. And again I think I think he again like he's a youth. I think he can like they can still be kind of taught to be better, and they can still kind of be shown the better way and everything, but it's like it can still be kind of hard to watch, and then even then it's like it definitely kind of does also depend on how stubborn the kind of youth is and everything, especially with how far down this path Harry already kind of seems to have been led down. It definitely kind of feels like it's not just like a simple matter of education. It's actually teaching. It's actively telling him and teaching him to be a better person, which may not be like a necessarily easy task. So but then of course again performances like that and kind of behaviors and presentations like that can also kind of bring in like memories for different people and bring in experiences and other kind of stuff. So not exactly the easiest thing or the most fun thing to watch, but still I guess it kind of happens. So but it turned out that Charlie's 15th birthday, he turned 15 too, which is it's an age. It's an age, and it's a teenage, and it's an age that's out there. It's the growth of adolescence and all that kind of stuff. I mean, your teenage years are generally speaking never fun, and the older you get, the closer you get to the kind of less and less fun parts and everything. But I think even when you're a teenager too, I think especially like when you're in high school and everything, like it's just like it's 5 years of confusion and hell and a lot of To be fair, like a lot of different things for a lot of different people. I think some people kind of definitely do have great experiences in high school, and I think it like in a lot of different cases, not all, but in a lot of different cases, it can definitely kind of help if you're one of the popular kids, or if you're actually kind of liked by everyone, or if you actually have like that good of an experience. But I think but I think perhaps maybe for most, if not all people, I think it's like a. For I think the commonality I think definitely could be this. It's actually kind of like definitely like a a really unlikable time for a lot of different people. Actually, people like like queer or not too. Like in in even if you're not queer and you're still kind of trying to discover who you are, but then you're kind of surrounded by people who constantly push you into a corner and actually kind of make you judge yourself, and then they judge you and everything. But then, of course, if you're queer on top of that, then it's just like it's just extra kind of added layers of kind of hellish kind of material on top of that too. So it's just like it's a very kind of formative time, and oftentimes in like a mixture of the worst and best ways. So but anyway, Charlie's 15th. I mean, his birthday was nice. His birthday, for the most part, was nice. Besides from the stuff with Tao, I think his stuff, his birthday was actually nice. He had a great time with his friends. He still had a great time with his friends, and he had a great time with Nick joining them and everything too. So that was really cool. I kind of do want to address Tao's kind of beef with Nick too. I mean, I think it was at least kind of good to see Tao actually kind of managing to stand up to Harry. I mean, I was kind of somewhat anticipating like a fight there for a second. I was expecting at least one of them to throw a punch, and then for it to result in some kind of fight, and then for there to be like a detention or something or other. Because I mean, even if I think because like they're outside the school gate, so would that really count as school grounds? Because then wouldn't it be like whatever's inside the gate is school grounds, or would it be like? Because I think even based on like the kind of high school I went to, like it's just like, oh, if you're wearing a uniform out in public, then you're still representing us and all that kind of crap. So I don't know exactly like what the kind of rules would be for outside of the gates for Truham. So I don't know, but either way, he stood up to Harry, and Harry kind of being the little dude bro dipshit that he is, he still managed to pick up his tone a little bit and actually could try and regain his authority and regain his kind of superiority and everything. So that happened, and then Nick tried to stand up and stuff happens. Yeah, I think with Tao, I mean, I think you can definitely kind of see where Tao's coming from. I think Tao's kind of judgment and hatred towards this group as well. I think it's also important to remember that he is actively casting this kind of judgment over the group as a whole, and you know it's based on what they've all on how they've all collectively treated him and Charlie and Elle, possibly even Isaac. Maybe I mean, this whole group is seen as the group of like social outliers and outcasts in different ways too. I think maybe Isaac being quiet and reserved is enough for them to pick on him or something, or maybe they just call him maybe they just gonna see him as like a nerd or something for reading or something. So I don't know, but either way, I think his kind of judgment of the group is kind of well founded. But I do find it hard to believe that he actually has any specific grudges against Nick besides from his connection. I think with Nick, because even with Nick, he did say that his problem was him actually kind of like actually hanging out with and actually being around those boys outside school gates and actually being around that group of year 11 kids and everything. So you know, I think it is pretty fair to say that like despite the fact that he's never been personally tormented or harassed or anything by Nick, and Nick himself has been either like an actual kind of reluctant figure or like a neutral figure in all the kind of bullying that's gone on, like he still kind of sees Nick as kind of like complacent, and it's like, you know, Nick's kind of willingness to actually let this go on and to actually kind of watch as kind of Harry's been the way he is all these years are kind of like can definitely kind of be seen as bad enough in Tower's eyes too. So I think because of that, he's kind of cautious, and then of course once Nick kind of comes further into the picture with wanting to be with Charlie and everything, I think that kind of raises Tao's concern levels a bit more and actually kind of leaves him wanting to remain cautious. And then of course the final straw, the straw that broke that particular camel's back was of course him and Elle dually witnessing Imogen not only asking Nick out, but then Nick also saying yes in response to that. So he definitely kind of wants to be careful himself. I mean, he knows it like himself to be careful, but then he also definitely wants Charlie to be careful, because I think again Charlie's like he's doing all this because Charlie is a friend and he's Charlie's friend and he cares, and he doesn't want to see him get hurt by some mean pranks or ploys or anything like that. So he is genuinely actually looking out for him, and I think again his judgment on them is actually based on an actual well-founded history of kind of bad kind of experiences with him and the group. So there is that. But then I think Nick too. I think definitely being like, you know, I think of course for him the kind of cherry on top was overhearing Tao and Charlie's argument in the restroom as well. I think for Nick, I think this entire episode kind of showed him kind of being under the pressure of conformity and authenticity, like him being like authenticity and conformity being like the kind of rock and a hard place, and him being between it, and just him not knowing which direction to really go. And even his speech with Imogen too. I think his speech with Imogen can just resonate resonate with a shit ton of people. And especially like in direct relevance to the story and the themes that this story encapsulates and you know actually kind of bounces off of in order to tell a story too. Like actually like queer people like struggling for so long to find like to not only understand who they are, but then actually finding their kind of place in the world, and actually kind of actually struggling to really be themselves, like in a world, especially like when they're part of like even if they're actually very socially active, but then still being like part of like a group that doesn't really kind of treat them or people like them as fairly as they should, and then like his lines especially of like being like, you know, if you've ever like suppressed who you really thought you were because you kind of like felt it wasn't right, or felt it was like wrong in some way because that's what you saw, but then you're so tired of actually doing what everyone else does and actually going along with what everyone else kind of does and goes along with too, and like him actually kind of like actually reciting like that kind of dialogue that actually kind of does like actually goes so far and explains so much, like it goes so far to explain so much, but then it also kind of it sounds so simple, but then actually kind of goes so far to explain so much, and it just kind of like actually like resonates so strongly, but then also kind of like actually kind of just summarizes summarizes a whole lot of feelings for so many different people, and then and in so many different ways too. And I think even Imogen herself, she seemed to be personally kind of affected by that too. I think with Imogen, I think with Imogen too, I think it wasn't necessarily in like a queer way, but I think with her, it was definitely in the case of like she definitely kind of, maybe she feels like a popular girl because she's known within the kind of ranks and then the social ranks of like Harry and his group, and he's kind of like and she's kind of like kind of connected to them, so then she's automatically a popular girl, and then and she's able to talk to them, and she's kind of like being able to interact with people and actually being treated as someone popular and cool. But then it's like deep down she doesn't want to, deep down she also actually doesn't want to be with them, and actually doesn't want to actually behave the way that they expect her to, and actually be able to actually if she wants to ask someone out too, I think because again I think maybe she also then wanted to actually be able to ask Nick out because she genuinely wanted that, not because Harry goaded her into it with taunts and remarks of like cowardice or shyness or whatever. I think if she actually did want to ask Nick out, then she wanted it to be because she actually felt motivated to do it herself, and she actually felt the kind of like right kind of mindset to kind of approach that situation too. So yeah, I think obviously in that scene the kind of strongest bond with those words was between Nick and the kind of that kind of mentality. But then of course I think it's good to see that his words actually kind of affected Imogen in a way too. So I think that makes me really curious as to how the season might move forward with Imogen, if she's gonna actually kind of disconnect from them. I mean, the next scene didn't really kind of show it would, but I think maybe over time she might see more and more of herself for who she really is, and actually might find that this doesn't resonate or actually click with Harry and the others at all. But then actually being herself is more important, so then she might have to actually can just leave the group and go somewhere else and actually find people more kind of clicky with her. I think Imogen must go to a different school, right? Because I think this is an all-boys school. I think that just hit me. That literally just hit me right this second. Like, Imogen, I mean, she does. She goes to Higgs, I think, because she was in the canteen with Tara and Darcy and Elle, I think. Yeah, she was in the canteen with them. So I think she goes to Higgs, but I think maybe then after school, I don't know if she'd have enough time during like break or anything. So then maybe after school she actually meets up with Harry and the others at the gate. So yeah, I think because then I was wondering how do they hang out like within like the kind of school's kind of premises, but then like she can't really go to Trim because then she's not a boy. So how'd that work? So then that literally just hit me. Like, oh yeah, she goes to Higgs, but then she probably she meets up with them like after school and everything. So that's how that happens. So yeah, so maybe she might then actually end up kind of not coming to the boys' school as much, because then she also feels like she doesn't want to be around Harry, but then she can easily kind of see Nick and Charlie if need be outside of school hours and hang out with them. But then she might actually kind of stick to the girls' school more and actually kind of find more girls and more people like her and actually kind of connect with them a bit more and actually find out more of who she is and everything. So yeah, I think excited to see, curious to see her journey and see what kind of path of kind of self discovery and self renovation. That sounds weird, but it's a self discovery that might lead her down. So that'll be very interesting to see. But yeah, I think them actually having Nick kind of explore that whole kind of concept in general too, of actually breaking the mold and being who you are and not being afraid to challenge different barriers and different kind of expectations and everything, especially socially too. Because I think generally speaking, like actually kind of tackling what anyone thinks of you is kind of hard enough on its own. But I think actually kind of like actually challenging your own kind of social group and people kind of your own age and that kind of thing, and your own kind of like social connections too. I think that can be like a more kind of daunting. That can be, I think, maybe slightly more daunting, only because that one is actually far more personal and far more kind of actually then you're challenging bonds that have been built and presumably maintained for like quite a few years too. So I think within like in that case, especially them being year 11 too, like they're kind of close to actually potentially parting ways too afterwards, after they actually graduate there and move on to college or whatever. So you know, challenging themselves at at that point too would be a more kind of maybe easier because I think it's still kind of earlier in their lives in some sense. I think like they're still teenagers, they're still kind of in their kind of adolescence in some way, like they're still in their youth. So I think they're kind of still like that like early enough in their kind of lifetimes to be able to challenge stuff like that. So that much alone is a good sign. But I think the kind of overall story of the overall kind of story of actually having Nick kind of actually quite like not only questioning himself but actually questioning who he has been for all this time and how much of that is real and how much of that is actually made up to go along with what everyone else thinks he is and what everyone else thinks he should be too, and actually breaking those barriers down, actually being more of who he knows himself to be deep down is a really kind of like a expansive and fleshed out kind of way to really explore the story too. Because I think it's generally with these kind of stories too, I think it's generally very easy to tackle it from like an actual queer lens, but I think also in an actual very very kind of general lens too, actually like exploring that story of actually you know, breaking barriers and being who you are in like a kind of like a broader sense too, but also like actually kind of like challenging other notions of how you treat people, like not just being queer yourself, but or like being under any kind of label yourself, but actually kind of like the way you treat people and the way you call out other behaviors. I think him actively calling out Harry's behavior, regardless of the kind of consequences that he faced at Harry's hand too. I think him actively kind of calling that out and him actively him actively sending that message and actually leading that example too, of actually kind of like, you know, no matter what you see or hear, you call it out and you actively try and dismantle that behavior. You kind of make sure it's known that, you know, you certainly don't stand for it and no reasonable or decent person will stand for it either. I think that kind of that really kind of sends the right message too, of actually tackling that and actually saying like, you know, no, that's wrong, you shouldn't be treating people like that and everything. So yeah, I think having kind of like having like Nick kind of be kind of leading that message with the history he has, with the kind of reputation and appearance that he has so far too, I think that kind of makes it mean a bit more too. Like the one person that everyone thought was like everyone thought was like them is actually not only like it is actually not like them at all, and like he's actually quite different. But then he's also still a good person deep down. He actually still tries to help people and he still tries to be decent and reasonable and like a good human being and everything. So yeah, I think actually having like giving Nick that kind of journey of actually kind of like actually like leading by that example is a really good sign too. So yeah. And yeah, I think of course I think even funnier that I think slightly more amusing that they explored too was the whole concept of you know, and this is something you've seen in like a bunch of stories before, in like a bunch of different stories before too. The idea that you want to deliver some you want to deliver some news to a person. Now it could be really neutral and lead to like a somewhat kind of like more mild like disappointed after effect, or it could be some really bad news that really upsets them. But then you find but then they hit you with some bad news affecting them first, like, you know, like that whole kind of interaction of like Nick wanting to kind of drop out the day and cancel the day and actually kind of tell her the reason why, but then Imogen suddenly hitting him with a ton of bricks like, oh, my dog just died. I mean, we all saw it coming, but still, my dog died, so now I'm devastated and heartbroken over that, so if anything else happens, I'm probably gonna perish and vanish off the face of the earth and everything. So yeah, I think that kind of thing always happens. I mean, don't know how often it happens in real life, but I think in story, I think because I feel like that is also like the one thing that you can dramatize for story purpose, but then also in real life that can also just easily happen too. Like, because then you might be polite and allow the other person to speak ahead just to actually get the thing out, but then you find out, oh, so that's what happened. So now you can't really say your thing without, you know, then worsening the situation because of what they just said. So yeah, but I think in this case, you know, I think it's also maybe something that that you then actually kind of see coming to, because then maybe it's like, oh, maybe then she actually is going to reveal some kind of bad news, which means that she's already in like a bad mood, and then, you know, no matter, and then if you know, like Nick decides to actually tell her what it is now, then, you know, then it's just going to be horrible to have to deal with, and it's going to be really horrible for her to actually have to deal with, and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, and I think I love that, like he even like that is literally also how he brought it up to his mother too. Like, I think he told her like, oh, I'm going out with a girl on Saturday, but then that's also Charlie's birthday, so I'm really conflicted, and I really don't know how to handle these two situations. And then her question being, oh, so, well, do you like this girl? Are you into her? Do you actually have any interest in her? And then he's like, well, her dog died, so now I feel obligated. Like, it's not like, oh, like, not even him starting off with, oh, she's a really nice girl, and then we've been friends for a long time, but I'm really not interested in her, but it's just like, oh, well, she gave me bad news first, so I really can't, like, drop out now without looking like a heartless dick or something. So, I mean, truth be told, I mean, she might react badly to that news at first, but I think she like knowing Imogen, and the kind of history and the history and then the friendship she's had with Nick so far. I feel like she also kind of would understand even from the get go. I think she'd be pretty upset, obviously, because it's just more bad news on top of more bad news. But then I feel like deep down she also know like it's not like a terrible thing. Like obviously she wanted to go on a date with Nick, but then that didn't go through. So I think shit happens. That kind of thing happens. It's just life. But then she also I think she also she wouldn't explicitly blame Nick or actually call him a horrible human being for doing that kind of thing. And eventually she'd come to terms with respecting his choice and how he feels and everything. So. I think those were definitely the kind of vibes that I was getting from her to start off with, and then of course the final actual kind of the kind of conversation at the park happened, and then he brought Nelly to. I think he brought Ed to. I think he likely brought Nelly to actually kind of ease her into it and actually give her one last chance to be with like another similar furry canine before breaking the news and everything. I think I genuinely don't know why for a split second I thought, oh, maybe if this was like a really kind of like a comedic scene or like some kind of parody or something, then maybe he'd actually genuinely be handing Nelly over to her or something. But no, he just wanted to actually give her the chance to actually interact with another dog to kind of ease her into it and actually kind of give her some nice memories and everything. And of course, I mean, who would not feel better after spending some time with Nelly? Nelly is just the best dog there is. So yeah, or at least one of them. At least one of the best dogs there is. So. Yeah, all you need is a little bit of Nelly in your life, and then, things are, like clouds gone, sunshine comes out and everything, so, yeah, it went well for the most part. It went well, so, yeah. And yeah, I think, obviously, Nick's mum did also have some pretty solid advice too, like, you shouldn't go out with someone, or actually kind of, like, you shouldn't go out with someone in general, like, just because you feel sorry for them, or just because you want to avoid disappointing them, because then they're like, when you do that, you're being dishonest, but then the longer you do that, you're just kind of stringing them along too, so then in the end, the breakup's going to be like, oh, you might try and cover it up with, oh, this isn't working, but then the truth is, oh, you were never really into them that way in the first place, and then maybe there's like a smallest chance you were still willing to test it out, but then for the most part, it's like you knew, chances are you knew this was going to end this way anyway, so then you were just going to string them along to kind of make them happy, but then it's not true happiness because then you're not happy being with them. So she has some good advice there, and of course, I think her assuming that he'd probably end up with a girl too in the end, I think that's like I also like really don't want to think that she actually was being harmful with that too. I think that's just kind of like maybe like the maybe like the parent in her talking, or maybe just like the kind of the kind of maybe the unassuming kind of mother in her talking in like an ironic way. I think she truly kind of meant no harm with like assuming, or actually kind of just actually putting it out there that he'd find like a nice girl eventually. But then that kind of obviously that phrasing probably didn't really help Nick feel the best either, actually knowing how he feels about Charlie, and the more it goes on, the stronger those feelings get, and then he kind of has trouble actively kind of dealing with them or presenting them in like a really kind of in like a not so straightforward way. But no, I think like the more I see of Nick and of the interactions between Nick and his mother, I think the more I definitely kind of want to I'm eager to see kind of him finally realizing what he is and who he is, and then of course the coming out and actually kind of him kind of trusting her with that information, and then him revealing that, and then hopefully it's like an all positive and all happy kind of scene where she accepts him unconditionally and lovingly and everything. So yeah. And then, of course, the gift he got him. The gift, oh my god, the gift was perfect. The gift was so perfect. It was perfect with a capital P. It was perfect with a capital P. The gift, as soon as he like took it out of the bag, and it was like an actual kind of like a thin-ish kind of rectangular kind of thing, wrapping paper and everything, I figured, oh, this has to be. I think at a push, maybe it's a book. Maybe he bought him like a funny book, or maybe he bought him like a different kind of book. Maybe he wanted to read or something. But then it would probably make I mean, not to say the child doesn't read, but then probably make more sense to buy Isaac a book or something. But I thought for a split second I thought it could be a book. But then of course, like the way he actually pressed into it afterwards, yes, I noticed those kind of details too. The way he actually pressed into it afterwards, and I think like how deep that kind of the deep front of it kind of looked and everything. I figured, oh, like what would make even more sense is to actually kind of have him have printed out one of those photos that they took on that day they hung out, and actually kind of frame it and nice and like customize it and do it all kind of homemade and everything. So he did it. He actually did it. He actually did one of the pictures they took of him. Of them in the snow with Nelly too, easily one of the most kind of relaxed and loving and one of the most fun days that both of them have ever had with each other and everything. So he took it and he framed it and he gave it to Charlie on his birthday. So Nick Nelson would be the ultimate boyfriend for Charlie, for Charles. Charlie Spring. I was about to say Charles Spencer, but no, Charlie Spring. So Nick Nelson already knowing exactly how to romantically satisfy his potential future boyfriend and everything. Just get together already. Just get together. And they even had their first kind of public kiss too. Inspired at least partially inspired by Darcy and Tara too. I think they definitely kind of hit Nick with all the positive kind of vibes that night too, and actually kind of showing him it's okay to be who you are and to just fuck the rest of the world and fuck the noise surrounding you and everything. So then they finally kissed very passionately in front of the arcade machine. So it was beautiful. It was very, very beautiful. So very excited to see where the show kind of continues in their steed and everything. So yeah, that was a really good scene. That was a really fun scene. So yeah. And yeah, I mean, speaking of Isaac too, again, I think he's I think he's probably not really getting as much screen time in this because again, I think did this kind of show not only because Nick and Charlie are also the main couple, but I think so far like the at least the story of this first season is kind of heavily driven by kind of romance and driven by like love and relationships and all that kind of stuff. And I think Isaac not only doesn't really have that right now, but I think he's also really not going for it. He's also he's also like not actively kind of chasing love or chasing a relationship or even chasing any kind of like attraction as a whole. So I mean, again, not to kind of push kind of queer identity or push queer labels on everyone, but I think I can't help but kind of detect some kind of like Ace kind of Arrow kind of vibes from him at the very slightest. Like maybe it's not really that strong. Maybe it's not really. It's just like it could also very easily just be him just being happy, being single, being happy with his books. Like his current relationship is just with his books, with reading. Like he loves to read and he brings a book almost fucking everywhere. Like even to the freaking bowling alley too. So props to him for actually finding. I mean, because I think it would be even greater, right? Like if not only does he have a book to bring everywhere, but then he also has a book specific to that place or specific to the occasion or something. Like I mean, I can't imagine he'd actually bought like a book on bowling to the bowling alley, but then still the fact that he still managed to bring something, because then for him, I imagine for him it's also a case of like, oh, if social interaction must cease and there's nothing else to do, then he could easily just crack open a book and start reading that. So then for him, it's always about preparation. So if he does go out, like he's fine going out, but then if he does go out, if he gets caught in the situation where everyone else is preoccupied with something and then he's the only one left with nothing to do, but then no, he actually has something to do. He actually sits down and then just starts reading. So he's always prepared with his favourite pastime, his favourite activity, his favourite hobby and everything, so he's always prepared. So yeah, but I mean, again, like I think he it could very easily be that he's also just kind of happy being single, happy being like himself and by himself, and he's happy just kind of like not having to be partnered up with anyone. So I think that kind of like a kind of self-love relationship kind of thing is also like very healthy and very good and very positive to explore. But I think also I can't really kind of help but detect even the slightest kind of Ace kind of Arrow vibes from him too. So I mean, if that is the case, then major freaking props. That is some really really great rep to have too, and everything. And hats off to Isaac for actually being that comfortable in those situations to actually kind of be happy with his friends and not really need anyone more or anyone else or anything like that, and actually kind of being happy with himself and still finding ways to enjoy life to the best of his own pleasure and ability too. So yeah, I'm kind of curious if he really does kind of fall off, if he really does fall under that, or if he just kind of is kind of happy, kind of chilling out and reading and absorbing information like that. But either way, it's cool. Either way, it's cool. Isaac again underrated. I think again Isaac doesn't really get nearly kind of in enough screen time in comparison to that. But yeah, I think again it's because of the fact that he is you know single. I mean, again, probably not the best message, probably not like not the best way to interpret it, or even like the best kind of message to send. Like, oh, if you're single, then that means your kind of screen time or your story doesn't matter as much. But then, like presumably a season 2 could be on the way too. So then in that case, then maybe actually explore more of Isaac and who he is, and if he really is Ace and all that kind of stuff, and see if he if he really can kind of or actually see if he actually does get like an actual see if he gets like a partner or like a friend by the next one who actually connects with him and advises him, because I mean Ace and Arrow people can still kind of have relationships in different ways too, and they can even still kind of have like romantic or sexual relations in some way that kind of suits them and is comfortable for them and actually fits them properly and everything. So I mean people, like labels can still kind of like apply to people in very, very, very specific ways too. So either way, I'm hoping in season 2 he maintains this level of happiness, if not managing to improve on it. So yeah, just Isaac is cool. Just give Isaac some equal kind of treatment too. So yeah, he's cool. Yeah. And yeah, then there was Elle and Tao too. I think towards the end, I think their final scene together was them. I think the kind of Isaac was on the coin machine winning his coins, and then I think Nick and Charlie were trying to face off against each other in Mario Kart again. I don't know if I actually knew that Mario Kart was actually on arcades now, so I think that kind of surprised me. But like Mario Kart actually being a game on arcade machines and everything, that one kind of surprised me. But either way, that's cool. But then also Elle and Tao actually playing, I think, Space Invaders. I think they're playing Space Invaders or some kind of killing, shooting kind of game thing. And they kind of had some very, very kind of optical moments. I don't know why I call them optical. They just kind of had like an eye-catching moment between the two of them. I think even like those last few seconds, Elle legitimately could not take her eyes off Tao either. So curious what's going on there. Again, haven't read the graphic novel, so I don't know if that's like a thing that happens in the novels, like if Elle and Tao actually are together, or if they do get together, or if that is a thing that happens. But either way, Elle and Tao, I mean, again, they've kind of had like a pretty strong, pretty closely knit kind of friendship being built up from the start of this season. So wouldn't be the most out of nowhere thing to happen in the story. But if she really is interested in him, then props to her. So I guess we'll see where that goes too. So yeah, I think again, I think all the more reason to actually have a season 2 as well. So then all these characters besides from Charlie and Nick actually get their fair amount of screen time and fair amount of story to kind of justify them and to actually kind of give them some equal kind of attention within the story too. So, and I think again, with there being multiple graphic novels, they can easily just kind of keep adapting as they go on and maybe kind of end the season off wherever the final volume is, if there is a final volume. I think even just recently, or I think maybe soon, Alice Oseman, the author, is actually kind of meant to release is meant to release like a new volume or a new story or something in relation to this. So she's still working. She's working on the books. She's working on actually helping to make this like an actual accurate and satisfying kind of adaptation and everything. So props to Alice Oseman. She is an incredible author. I can only assume. Haven't read the graphic novels myself yet, so I can only assume. But I think even like her work on this adaptation is actually kind of speaking volumes, and I think her actually caring enough about this kind of project to actually kind of make sure that the kind of story is told as authentically and as accurately as possible, and actually kind of like actually retelling the story in I think especially with it being an adaptation too. I think her actually working to tell the story in a way that even people who haven't read the graphic novels can still understand and connect and relate to these characters and then to the story, and actually connect to these themes and these arcs as closely as possible. So yeah, thank you to Alice Oseman. I will definitely be checking out the graphic novel soon. So yeah. But yeah, for now, that is pretty much all I've got. All my initial thoughts out of the way. So that was the birthday party, the Tao and Elle stuff, and the Tao and Charlie and Nick stuff, and even the Isaac stuff too. What little was there. So yeah, it was a fun episode in that sense, a very fun episode in that sense. So they had another great kiss, and and then he gave Charlie a gift, and they had a great time, and you know, things hopefully moved on for the better too. So we'll see what the kind of coming episodes actually hold for us and how they evolve. So yeah, that is it from me for now. So that was Heartstopper season 1 episode number 5. So thank you guys as always so much for being here and for watching this video. If you guys enjoyed it, then feel free to leave a like and comment on the episode and what you're hoping to see in the coming ones and how you feel about the story so far and everything. Once again, full length reaction for those interested will be over on Patreon, so you can go check that over there. And yeah, that is pretty much it. So until the next time, bye bye for now.